Well, hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today is July the 5th, and for some reason, today is a holiday. Well, I understand why it's a holiday. Yesterday, Sunday, was July the 4th, so the federal government pushes federal holidays, rat-a-tat-tat, all that stuff. Anyway, there's no one in the office but me. I shouldn't even be here. Yesterday, we had a long day. It was Sunday, and we had to go to church, or that didn't sound good. We were blessed with the opportunity to be in church yesterday morning. And then we loaded up and we took the grandkids and our kids, and we all went down to a neighboring town down in Florida. And we spent the day, and we got rained on, and then we had fireworks that were later because of the rain. And it was a long day. And so today, this morning, one of the grandsons spent the night with us last night, and this morning I slept later than I ever sleep because he was there, and he was sleeping later, and I was hanging out with him. Anyway, it's raining today. There's no one in the office. There's nothing going on. It's a holiday. It's raining. There's nothing to do. It's a dreary day. I'm walking in circles. It's 3 p.m. now, already 3 p.m., and I'm just trying to figure out what to do with myself on this boring. It's just raining all the time, guys. It just rains every day here. Every day it rains. I looked at the forecast this morning, and every day this week there's an 80% chance of thunderstorms. Anyway, so I decided that I'd start working on the project, and I'd finally tell you the story about me dropping my 2020 Ultra Limited 3 times in 2 days. That's right. I never dropped it before. I haven't dropped it since. But on July, 1 year ago, July the 4th and 5th of 2020, I dropped my Ultra Limited, brand new Ultra Limited, 3 times in 2 days. And I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to tell you what I learned. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that right now. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon, thumbs up, comment, all that good stuff. That'd be a blessing. I'm going to get out of this office. I forgot to lock the door. Be right back. Mercy. Oh, that feels better. I haven't been wearing my cap today. It stinks. I gotta wash it. See, here's the thing you gotta know about me. I don't consider myself an expert. I'm not that guy. I just know a lot of people who know everything. You bring up a subject, they know about it. That's another subject for another day. I don't claim to be an expert at anything. I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for 36 years. Yikes. I don't claim to be an expert on being a pastor. I don't claim to be a theological expert. I don't claim to be a great theologian. Nothing. So anyway, I haven't been riding that long. I just turned 61, and I think when I bought my first motorcycle, I was 52. So that's what, 9 years? And I haven't had the best of luck with motorcycles. I've scratched up a few, but I think I'm getting pretty good at slow speed maneuvering. Now, Robert Simmons on Paying It Forward, he asked you to rate yourself from a 1 to a 10 on how you are with slow speed maneuvering, and I would say, honestly, 10 being the best. And based on how his viewers rate themselves and then they show videos of themselves, I would say I'm a 2 or a 3. I can make a U-turn. Give me plenty of space, I can make a U-turn. I can do that kind of stuff. I'm not afraid to lean the bike, all that stuff. But July the 4th and July the 5th of 2020, 1 year ago, yesterday and today, I had just a rash of, number 1, bad decisions, number 2, bad luck. And every one of those, the reasons why I dropped that bike, I knew better. I knew better. I just have to keep learning this. I just had to learn the lessons all over again. I stinking knew better. It's what makes me so angry with myself. Do you get angry with yourself? Man, I was, you know what makes it bad is that these 3 times that I dropped my bike in 2 days, I was in North Georgia, East Tennessee, at a motorcycle rally. I couldn't drop it out there by myself with just some good old boy getting out of his pickup truck and helping me pick it up. I had to drop it 3 times in 2 days at a motorcycle rally. Can you tell I'm aggravated? It was a year ago. It was a full year ago. I still get aggravated about it. Now, here's the thing about slow speed maneuvering. I've never been to a class. I believe everyone should go to a class, but I've never been to a class. I've watched the videos. I've watched Jerry Palladino ride like a pro, guys sharp, training police officers, motorbike police officers. I've watched Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, who Robert is a former New York City motor police officer, and he talks about, and I know the techniques. I know about friction. I know about covering the brake. Listen, anybody can ride a bike at 60 miles an hour in a straight line. So here's the thing about slow speed maneuvering. I know about the friction zone. I know about covering the brake. I practice. I get in the parking lot at my office on a regular basis, and I go in circles, and I do U-turns, and I do all this stuff, and I practice the friction zone, which is a little bit more difficult with a hydraulic clutch. But I do practice, okay? But one of these instances, I was moving, but the problem I had really had nothing. The reason I dropped the bike had nothing to do with the friction zone. The other 2 times that I dropped the bike, I was sitting still. Practically still. One time completely still. The other time, I'll tell you about it. So I just finished my bi-weekly, 4 times a week trip to Walmart. Not my favorite place to go. That's a different video for another day. So here we go. Number 1. The first time I dropped my bike on July the 4th, 2020. It happened in, of all places, Deals Gap, North Carolina. Do you know where Deals Gap is? Deals Gap is the top end of the tail of the dragon. top, yeah, the top end of the Tail of the Dragon. It is a motorcycle mecca. I've rid the Tail of the Dragon, I've lost count, probably 17, 18 times. I started to say 20, but I don't want to exaggerate. Probably 17 or 18 times I've rid the Tail of the Dragon. That particular day, we started at Deals Gap. We rode all the way to the other end. We stopped at the overlook. We took some pictures. We rode all the way back. Great day, beautiful day, having a load of fun. And we come into the parking lot at Deals Gap, and I stopped because I went into the parking lot, and then I just kind of got in the middle of the parking lot, and I stopped to survey the parking choices, if you will. I was sitting completely still, and because of the direction that I was gonna go originally, I had my handlebars cocked to the right. That was a mistake. See, I know better. And I was on just a little bit of an incline, not much, it wasn't much. And I had my hand on the front brake. And as I was sitting there with my handlebars cocked to the right, I'm looking around and I'm surveying the parking lot. And my bike started moving just a little bit. Wasn't much, wasn't a lot. My foot was on the ground. My bike started moving. And I grabbed that brake. And if you know anything about motorcycles, you know what happens when you got your handlebars cocked to the right, you're rolling and you grab your front brake. And just in an instant, I was on the ground. Well, I wasn't on the ground, but the bike was laying over. Was it a violent fall? Didn't do very much damage to the bike. A little skint place under the saddlebag crash bar, but I was at stinking Deals Gap. Crap. That was number one. Number two, the second time that I dropped my beautiful 2020 Ultra Limited in 3 days 1 year ago, it was the same day as Deals Gap. As a matter of fact, we left Deals Gap. I'm still dealing with the embarrassment of dropping my bike, and we went on a long ride, moonshiners. I have emotionally blocked out. But after we had ridden quite a ways, we stopped at a gas station, a fuel depot, a petrol place, because some of the guys needed gas. I didn't need gas. And in front of the gas station, there was a long sidewalk. And so the guys that were not getting gas, we did the whole riding parallel with the sidewalk, pulling out and then backing into the sidewalk, which I did. Not a problem. Not a problem with that. I backed into the sidewalk, thankfully, with plenty of room to spare between me and my friend who was to my left. I laid my bike over on the kickstand. I got off, went inside to get some coffee. The guy that came and parked beside me, another friend, he parked, I discovered later, he parked too close to me. Now listen, I'm not blaming him. But he parked too close to me. So whenever we were I thought we were loading up, getting ready to leave. So I got on my bike and I stood it up and I put my kickstand up. Well, while I'm standing there with both feet on the ground, my friend's wife comes out to their bike to get her helmet on and everything. And because he had parked so close to me, there really wasn't enough room for my bike to be standing up and his bike to be leaning, and her in between those two bikes getting geared up. So, trying to be a nice guy, I leaned my bike back over onto the stand. The only problem is that the stand was not there. I had put it up. And listen, what a lesson I learned that day. I don't ever put my kickstand up until I'm ready to put the bike in gear and I'm ready to roll. I practice that. Now, I just don't do it. But I laid the bike over. The good news is that I had parked far enough away from my friend that when my bike laid over, it didn't touch his bike. That was great. Oh, if I'd have skinned up his bike, I'd have had to move to Taiwan or something. I just couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to live with myself. So there again, it wasn't a violent fall. I was on the bike as when I put it on the kickstand, and then I realized, uh-oh, it's not going to stop. It was too late. But I was still giving it some resistance. I was trying with all of my might to keep that bike from going down. I was already embarrassed. I wasn't moving. It wasn't a moving thing. It wasn't slow speed maneuvers. I was sitting completely still, but I would, as I leaned the bike over to put it on the stand, it just kept going. And of course, I'm surrounded by bikers. I had just dropped my bike at Deals Gap just a couple of hours earlier, maybe 3 hours earlier. And there I was again with my bike on the ground because I was trying to do a nice thing and trying to get out of my friend's wife's way so that she could get geared up and she could get on their bike. And that's number 2. So the lesson from that is, for me personally, is don't put your kickstand up until you're ready to go. I had no reason to have my kickstand up except I thought we were about to go. I didn't have the bike running. I was just standing up, holding it up. I don't do that anymore. Number 3. Do you get the feeling I'm just driving around today? Well, I'm not. I started this video at the office. I had to go by where my wife works because she's the only person working today by choice. Then I had to go to Walmart. Then I had to go back to her office. Then I had to come back to my office because I had left my glasses here. So anyway, third time I dropped my bike in 2 days. This was the only time that I was moving. And I want to try to make it quickly, but 3 of us on bikes, when we were still at the rally, were riding from the motel down to a little cafe that was in the town where we were. And we had found this little cafe and we liked it, but the cafe was real close to the street. There were parking places lined up right in front of the cafe, but it was close to the street, so there wasn't a lot of distance between the street and the parking spaces. I was second in line, and I was the only one there that didn't have my wife with me. Both the other 2 bikes was 2 up, but I was second in line. Well, as we were slowing down to pull into this cafe, I noticed that there was room for 2 bikes right in front of the door. And my friend who was leading me was headed to that area, to that spot. So I'm thinking, as I'm slowing down and I'm just almost to just a crawl, I'm thinking I'll look for another spot and I'll let the couple behind me park beside them so that it'll be couples together. trying to be a nice guy. And so I'm coasting, but I'm looking around and I'm looking for another parking spot. Unbeknownst to me, I'm just barely moving. I'm in control of the bike. But unbeknownst to me, I'm about to hit a very deep pothole. And I did. And when I hit that, when my front tire went into that pothole, it stopped me. I wasn't prepared for that. And when it stopped me, my bike laid over. Now, it didn't go over far because of the pothole and how the tire was. It didn't go over far, but it went over far enough that I could call it a drop. Now, this time it didn't go all the way. I was able to stand the bike back up by myself. But still, 3 times in 2 days. Now, why am I sharing this with you? I don't know. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. Maybe there's somebody out there that you've dropped your bike and you needed to hear a horror story that made you feel better about your story. I don't know. You know, and it occurs to me that while my bike is in great shape, my bike is not damaged. There's a little skint places on the crash bars. They did their job. The engine guards, they would rather you call them. They did their job. I do have a scratch on one of my saddlebags that has nothing to do with that, but because something fell on it, and I've got to do something about that. But as far as those 3 events, there's no major paint damage to my bike. And so it occurs to me that if I were to decide to sell the bike, I'm outing myself that whoever I sell the bike to, now if they ask me, have you ever dropped it? I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say, well, sure. You find a bike that's more than 3 or 4 years old and it's ridden, chances are better that it's been dropped than it is that it's not. But anyway, my bike's in great shape. It's a beautiful bike. It looks good. You've seen my bike a lot since that event on videos, if you've watched these videos. But anyway, that's my story. That's my story. And so what I want to ask you to do is subscribe. If you've dropped your bike, put it in the comments. Tell me about it. Help me feel better. I doubt there's anybody out there listening to me that's dropped your bike 3 times in 2 days. Tell me your story. Hit that bell icon, thumbs up,